Never mind.
We'll just edit that part out.
I was going to vape first.
Go ahead. I'll tell Cayman to edit out the first part.
Cool. I'm done.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back.
We here.
To another episode. Ta-da! Bum, bum, bum. I don't know why I feel like... Something's going on in my brain today where I think
it's because you stayed up too late doing homework.
I stayed up till 4 a.m. Y'all doing homework, so my brain cells
I went to bed with the kids at 9.
Hanging on by a thread. My brain cells I literally called my cousin last night because we set up a sleepover. See, I can't even think, for the kids, the cousins. And I saw her text and I called her and I was like, hey, are you busy? She's like, no, what's up? I was like, I don't have enough brain cells to text you, so I'm calling you. She was like, okay. I was like, let's talk about this sleepover because, like, I won't remember shit through a text message. Or I'll think I replied and then I forget to reply. And
that's my biggest thing is if I'm really busy, I'll, like, look at it and then I put it back in my pocket, but then I forget that I've already opened it. So, like, it's not going to show me that I have a new text. And then I leave people hanging and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, that was never my intention. So,
yeah. Or you, like, do you ever, like, heart it and then you, like, start to type and then you get busy, you put it away?
Yep.
And they think you just heart or liked it. And you're like, fuck, I meant to actually say something back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
do that a lot
times.
too. Well, on today's episode, I know last episode, we talked about something a little bit more lighthearted, just how we view ourselves and a challenge, which we will do. We have yet to do it. We're going to do it.
We're going to do like Goodwill style where we pick out each other's though.
Yeah.
What I think would look groovy on you and what you think would look groovy on me, baby.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Me too.
But
now we just both have to be kid free at the same time.
I know, fuck. Or drag the kids and be like, just let us do this.
Cam, watch all the kids, make them stay in the basket.
Nah, I love Cam, but he's never like, it's
He's going to be looking at games and shit. Like, we're going to be like, where are the kids? In the store?
Why would I do
on the cruise? In the store?
He's somewhere. They're somewhere in here. He's like, unless
nobody's
they
called
left.
Security. Like, I mean,
he's like, yeah, they're somewhere around here. It's always Harper. I'm always like, Harper's in charge.
Oh,
Harper
yeah.
Bella.
She's the youngest. Harper's the youngest out of all of them.
But also the most mature.
She is. She's very mom-like. Like when I watch my baby cousin twice a week. And whenever she gets off the school bus and comes inside, she's like, Mom, my turn. And she wants to full-blown take care of him all by herself. She'll be like, I'll let you know if I need something. I'm like, girl, I'm going to be watching you the entire time. Because you're not just going to carry around this baby. Like, you're going to sit down.
Yes.
Because if something happens to this baby, it's on me.
Yes.
Like, no. She'll be like, Mom, you really don't have to. I'm like, you really need to sit down.
They're the same way with Jed. Like, when Jed was smaller,
she still tries to hold him, and he's almost as big as her. I'm like, Harper, you're not going to be able to carry him that long. She's like, well, I will until I can't. I'm like, all right, then, girl.
She always reminds me of that, like, those TikToks where it's like, a single mom that works too hard.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's Harper with her toy babies.
I know.
And her toy car seat for the baby. It is so precious.
I know, but when Liam's there and he snatches that shit up, she's like, Mom, my baby. So I'm like, you're almost 8, girl. Like,
leave her.
Let him. Well, he's only 2, so I'm just like, let him for the 30 minutes he's gonna be here. Play with your babies. And she's like, he's gonna mess up their outfits and their hair. I was like, and then you'll fix it, right? And she's like, yes, of course I will. Like,
but see, I never want to like we jokingly say that, whatever, the kids can watch each other, but we'll always obviously have eyes on the kids. They're not going to just like run amok. But it's also too, I think, because a lot of our childhood.
We'll bring Jonathan and make him watch them. Like, watch the basket.
Yeah, he'd be like, fuck, all right. We're just playing his like League of Legends or whatever.
We all come out. He's like, each of the kids has asked me for $2 on Roblox. All 4 of them. I'm broke now. Like,
oh, and that is Jonathan. He'll be like, okay.
Okay, fine. I know. I do the same shit. I'm like, are you gonna be quiet? They're like, yeah. Here's your $2.
Here's your $2. But yeah, I feel like I never want the kids to have too much responsibility. Because we had a lot of responsibility.
I had too much. Yeah, I didn't like that shit.
Yeah, so. It was hard. I think that too is like what now has, just like how you grow up obviously plays into your adulthood. And like that's what we're going to talk about today is just like what that's impacted us like on our attachment styles, like in relationships. And I think a lot of my attachment style is like I had so much responsibility for Star, so much responsibility for myself. Just too much where
you
at
just
times
already feel like an adult.
I felt like an adult.
Yeah.
And now because of that, like if things just become too much for me, because I've been doing a lot of responsibility since like 8, like my parents divorced when I was like 6, and then like pretty much by 8, like me and Star were left on our own. And things were different back then, but still, I'm like, oh, you could be alone. Like, oh, you don't need to, like, I start
Things
to
were a
talk.
lot worse back then. There was no cameras. There was no cell phones.
Yeah.
There was no, like, if your landline got cut outside by a murderer, you was just dead then,
We
I
didn't even
guess.
have
like,
a landline. Sometimes my mom be like, you guys know that if you need to use the phone, like in the
you can go to
apartments
the
we
next
lived
door
in.
neighbors.
Yeah. We would just go to the neighbors.
Oh,
like, if there was a number.
no.
And she knew, too. She'd be like, okay, Yanni, use the phone, call your mom. But, like, we didn't even have a fuck if we were just there. And people knew we were just there. That was what was even crazier.
Oh, my God. Because that's like when, like, the most, however fuck you say that word, like, prolific? What's that word? Like, murderers. They were able to get away with so freaking much because there was no DNA at the time. Like, there is now, of course,
Right.
but there was no
Home
cell
security
phones. There was no home
cameras.
security cameras.
Nothing.
There were, and neighbors minded their own goddamn business.
They did.
So
no one was going to call
if you
CPS
were alone,
on you.
nobody. We didn't even know about CPS. Like, we didn't even know that we could do that, or else I would have used that probably one point and tell my mom, I'm gonna call CPS. Then.
No, my mom would have killed me if I even threatened it.
Well, I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, me neither.
Like, none of my friends ever talked about it either. And like one of my friends' mama was smoking weed all the time. All the kids' clothes, backpacks, everything smelled like it. And back then it was definitely not okay. It still isn't. But like nobody ever called the law on her.
No, because they were like
because they had a roof, they had clothes, they were being fed, they had all their shit that they needed for school. Like there was never a problem. Like, she was a mom still.
She was still a mom.
Yeah. So.
I guess, like, for me, like, because I stepped into that so early, so, like, my mom and dad split. My mom lived with, like, my aunt and my grandma for a little bit, but that wasn't really, like, working out. There was just a lot of us in one mobile home, okay? A mobile home.
Especially a single wide?
Yeah, like, it was just not fun. So it was, like, my aunt plus her 3 kids, plus my grandma and her husband at the time, plus my mom and me and Star. So
God, y'all each shared a room?
Yeah, like we shared a room with my mom, and we all shared a bed, like all 3 of us for a long time.
Your poor mom, she had to get off in the shower because y'all was in the room.
and at that was probably being rushed because we all shared.
The
only person who had a master bathroom was my aunt who owned the mobile home.
Oh my God.
So everybody else shared
Mom, you got 3 minutes to jack off and get the fuck out.
and get out. But a lot of when we like finally moved out after like a year of living with them, it was just us on our own in our apartment. And like, dude, like all that was on me.
Yeah.
Like making sure we got off to school, making sure that our hair was brushed when we got home, making sure that I did take out the meat. Sometimes when I got older, like probably about like 10 going into middle school, I was actually cooking at that point. Making sure if we needed clothes, I was washing clothes. Homework should be done. We should be bathed. Like my mom would come home and like that was it. She ate, she bathed, and like she went to bed and she like woke up and did it all over again.
Yeah.
If there was something missing, like if God forbid me or Star had an art project or some kind of project and I didn't have means to get us a poster and I'm like reading the instructions, I'm like, we need a poster. So I'd be like waiting for my mom anxiously and she'd come home, she'd be like, hey girls. I'm like, hey. And I'd like watch her.
You gotta tell Jimmy I need a poster board and some highlighters. And they're like, what the fuck? I don't want to go anywhere. I just got home. You're like, you didn't have a cell phone for me to call you. I ain't even got no house phone to call you.
I just had to wait. And because of that, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes I become really hyper independent and I don't want to be.
Yeah, I think that's what we both talked about, that we split a lot with each other. Yeah. Is that if people keep messing with us, we're like, all right, fine, fuck you. Go away forever. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
And that's not healthy.
No.
That's not. Well, like,
our therapists definitely say it's not healthy. So I believe her, I guess.
Because I guess, like, there's, like, anxiously attached, and then there's, like, avoidant, and there's all these different genres.
Like, I don't have to have a spouse. I'm very, like, I'm okay if I'm just single for the rest of my life. Like, with my 2 kids. And I think that's where we also are, like, as long as I have my kids, I'm good.
Yes.
And it should not be that way. Like, you deserve happiness. I deserve happiness, like, outside of work and being a mom. And
then, like, what happens when the kids grow up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you want to find somebody you can go vacation with and shit.
Just spend your life with.
Like, if you're just so, like, just dead set on kids 24/7 and, like, your job and everything else around, you don't give time for yourself at all. And I realized that when I was going on dates, like, I would go out with a different person like every other week when I was kid free. And it was cool because I was laughing in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, not like oh, my kids are being silly as hell. It was like a laugh, like
Yeah,
oh,
like
I feel
you
at
had another
peace
adult
laugh.
connection.
Yeah, out.
Yeah.
It's hard when you're just used to talking to kids all day, you know?
It is. And then you think about it, like once the kids are in the house, typically it's in the
You don't want to be
30s
a
to
loner.
40s. You have 20 to 30 years. Like literally, my therapist put this into perspective for me. And she was like, you'll have 20 to 30 years. You longer because you had Cam so young. On average, 20, 30 years. And then what?
Where you're alone.
Where you're
Yeah.
alone? Like, is that what you want? Because I tell her, like, I guess when you kind of, you said it earlier, like, we know we can be alone. And, like, we kind of
But do
learned
we
that
really
from our.
want to? No. Like, I
No.
mean, at the end of the day, it's nice to have somebody to come home to, but also at the end of the day, it's like, if this is not what's working out for me, then I really don't care. Like, I don't care at the end of the day.
But you do care. See, and I know I care too. But we say that because I know
We're
it's
used to saying
it's
it.
our defense like
Yeah.
even like when you were like, oh, as long as I have the kids, like in both my divorces, I told them I was like, I understand we're not going to work out, but I keep the kids. Like I'm raising my kids. And even too when I go through times where my natural attachment style rears its head, like it comes out more. When I was talking to my therapist about it, like she asked me, like in my childhood, she was like, where, because it stems from just like, again, the positions you put your kids in, which is why I never want to put our kids in like too much of like having a lot of responsibility or like being like super where they have to rely
I
on
know,
each
but
other
then I get told that
themselves.
my kids are super spoiled, and I'm like,
They're
I
not.
want them to be kids. I want them to
Right.
be able to not have big people responsibilities. Like
At
by
10.
by middle school, I had just turned 11 right before I started sixth grade. I was waking up 30 minutes early so that way I can make sure Allie and Bubba got ready, ate breakfast, and then I would walk them a couple blocks away to the bus stop for the elementary school bus to pick them up. And then when they got picked up, I would run back home and like get myself ready, eat my breakfast, and do all the other things. And then I would have to walk like half a mile to my school. It was at least half a mile, probably even farther than. I'm gonna look that shit up. I think it was
Like, at least a mile.
While we're talking, I'm gonna look that up because it was far.
But that's a lot of responsibility. And see, for me, I think where it started was, when my mom and dad divorced, I mean, I still remember it was like Halloween night. They had a huge blowout. Like my mom's neighbor of a lot of years, our neighbor there in San Antonio.
It's 1.1 miles and it's a 23-minute walk.
And you've been
And
up
my
since
dad,
5 a.m.
yeah, and my dad, before he would leave for work, he'd be like, remember, you're going to be in your cheerleader outfit today, so don't be talking to nobody as you're walking. Like, let them drive by you. Like, if they try to get your attention, well, there's no cell phones,
Yeah,
you know?
he's like,
You're like,
just run.
He's like, run. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So
Run and
I would use
scream.
like a mini backpack that day if I had to wear my cheerleader outfit. And I'd just be like, minding my own goddamn business. This dude at one point was like, hey, I can give you a ride to your school. I was like, I'm good. I started like
Booking it.
That's why when y'all make fun of me about fast walking, I walk so fucking fast on accident. And I have long legs, so they go really fucking fast. And I'm like, dude, that's where I learned it. Like, I would just fucking book it. I'd be like, okay, bye. Ah.
Because, again, you just
That's
learn
scary.
those things.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when all that happened, my parents separated. It was, like, super traumatic the whole night. I mean, it was just really bad. And I woke up Star, and I was like, hey, like, mom and dad, like, I just told her, like, mom and dad got in a huge fight, and, like, they're not going to be together, and we're, like, going to grandma and Aunt Lori's. And they lived in Kyle at the time. We lived in San Antonio, so they were far. We never saw them a whole bunch. And Star was like, what? I'm like, yeah, so get some of your stuff. And my mom's neighbor, Miss Cookie, was helping us pack up. And my mom was, like, losing her shit in the garage. And I told my therapist, I was like, yeah, I remember in that moment, I was like, well, as long as, like, me and Star are good, like, I'm good. And
Yeah.
we were just, like, holding hands the whole time. And, like, watching my dad get arrested. Watching my mom, like, try to be calmed down by, like, the neighbor. And the neighbor's packing our stuff. And then finally, like, 2 hours later, my grandma and my aunt showed up. And they just, like, that was it. They took us with, like, our stuff on our back. And I very much carry that mindset now into my attachment style. Where I'll, for a bit, be like, I want this. Like, I'll hold on. Almost to the point where it's, like, too much. Like, almost a little anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happens. And I'm avoidant. I'm like, it's okay. As long as I take myself back
I
to
either
that
avoid
point,
it or I blow the fuck up.
I won't blow up.
Well,
I'll pretty much avoid. And the avoidance will be like, nah, I'm good. It's okay.
Well, mine is mainly like the blowing up is if I'm like constantly told the same thing over and over and over and over and they know it bothers me.
Yeah.
Then they know at some point, because they know me, that I'm not going to like being backed into a corner for that long. And then I'm going to say very mean things to get you away from me. And when I say those mean things, I don't usually ever say that I'm sorry, because I'm not. Like, you made me feel bad, so I wanted to make you feel the same. And my therapist is like, yeah, that's not really that healthy. I was like, I know. I was like, I'm just telling you.
But but again, and it's not an excuse, but then we have to reflect on why we're like that.
She was like, that's not healthy. I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck happened in my life, like, from my childhood? Because my parents, they did amazing raising 4 kids by themselves. Like, they were young. They were young. Like, they had my sister. My mom had just turned 19 and my dad had just turned 21, and they had my sister, and then literally 2 years later me, 5 years later Allie, then 2 years later after that my brother. And my dad would work any job. Like, he worked for Motorola construction, but on the side he would build fences, patios. He would do fucking anything, fix people's cars to make extra money. And my mom knew, okay, I hold the insurance for the family, so you need to continue to be like the money maker. And I never had where my parents had rough times at the house. I mean, maybe like twice or so that I could remember, but that ain't shit. Like, I mean, and then my dad started traveling overseas, so now their marriage has just gotten even better. Like, because now they have time apart. Each other, and then when they come back, they're like, oh my God, I've missed you so much. And they act like fucking teenagers. So I didn't have a bad household at all. Like,
but I think you had a lot of responsibility.
It's just that my parents had to be to work by a certain time in the morning.
Yeah.
Nobody could get the kids to school, like, and the bus didn't come, and she didn't want my 2 little siblings just like sitting out there by themselves on the corner across from a convenience store where there's always fucking homeless people, because it was Austin. I lived in Austin, so I just did what I needed to do. But it made me also to where I was babysitting full time on the weekends when I was 15, and I never stopped.
Yeah.
Until I moved to New Mexico. I was still like 22 though. And I think I've just like always attached myself to a lot of responsibilities. Mm-hmm. And then so if I feel like something's trying to get in my way or annoy me, I'll just be like, no.
Or like disturb you from like what you've already set out to do.
What I want to do.
Yep.
Then I'm just like, no, I can't do this.
Right, because...
But then I'm the bad guy, and I'm like...
No, I don't think you're the bad guy. I don't think anyone's the bad guy. Like...
Me neither. Like, you're allowed to feel how you feel, why you feel that way. Like, I don't know. I'm not in your body.
Right, and you didn't have those childhood experiences.
I didn't have traumas that you had. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Like, that's the thing, too, is, like, your childhood... Like, I agree. Like, you didn't experience the same thing I did, which we experienced a lot of poverty growing up. Domestic violence was in the home until my parents split. You know, just like very traumatic childhood.
See, my parents never boxed, never. My dad wouldn't even call my mom the B word. Like, he would never.
But I would say just because of your age gap, you had a lot more responsibility that you were held accountable to. Like, me and Star only have a 2-year age gap. Yeah. So if I fucked up, like, my mom would get mad and have to remind herself, like, fuck, they're only 2 years apart. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys had a 5-year age gap. Apart. Yeah. So it was like, Brittany, you're 5 years older. You should know, like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, then you just felt this hyper need to constantly be top of your game, constantly be doing something productive, constantly be on the lookout for somebody else. And so, yeah, I could see where...
Remember I told you, I said sometimes I would lock them outside to get some peace and quiet?
Yeah. Okay, but there you go. If someone
so that's what I do. I lock them out. Mm-hmm. Even if it's for a day or two. Not my siblings. It would be like 10 minutes max. And they had a trampoline out there. They had a playscape. They were not bored. They could go ziplining on our fucking laundry hanger thing back there. That shit was fun. Cool. Yeah, but I'm like, no, they're fine. When I would watch them through the window too, but
like, God, I hate you guys.
I know. Well, and we had a sliding glass door, so I would like, and there was no, curtains on it, so I could see them. But still, I'll be doing that shit to people though for like 2 or 3 days. At this point, I'm like, you disturb my peace so goddamn much, like that. There's just no way.
You had a lot of, a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I still do, but also, I'm used to it. Like, I feel like whenever my kids were gone for the first time ever from me for longer than 8 days, when they went to Wyoming last summer, I literally would walk around my living room like this and just walk. Like, because I had already deep cleaned, I had already worked. but now I have nothing to do. It's 5 o'clock and I have nothing to do. I usually have lunches to make or take them to the pool. We did the pool almost every evening.
Right.
I'm like, I had nothing to get ready. Nobody's clothes to pick out for the next day except for my own. Even the dogs are looking at me like, bitch, sit down. But I literally couldn't.
You don't stop moving?
I know. They'd be on the couch like, this bitch is going crazy. Like, but it's
She
just
done
because
lost her
I was
mind.
just like, what do I do now? Like, I need something to do.
That's a trauma response.
Yeah, and I don't always have to do something, but I do.
No.
I feel like I do.
You don't. And I think even shutting people out, like, that's what I was going to say. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty because you're working on it. 1, you recognize that's a huge step. 2, and 3, like, even when me and my current boyfriend get into disagreements, we've never had a huge blowout. Like, and then I think that's also too because we're just naturally compatible, and I think emotionally we're wired pretty similarly.
Y'all have known each other for a really long time.
We have
as
known
well.
each other
so
for a
y'all
long
know
time.
how each other is and reacts and all of those things that like
Right.
most couples going into it, they don't know.
No. Yeah,
It's
known
fresh.
we were friends for a long time before. But I would also say, like, I always try to view each of us as like the child within us. Like, when he has a need where I'm quick to be like, oh, I'm going to take this personal,
You're a
or
pussy.
I'm going to react,
I'm
right?
just kidding.
But seriously, like, I'm like, okay, what is really his inner child saying? He's saying that he doesn't want, let's just say, for example, he doesn't want to have this argument right here and right now. Probably because his inner child saw arguments. And I don't know for sure, but I just try to think of it from that perspective. And then from my perspective, where he's like, I don't need a couple of days of space, like maybe a few hours. And I'm like, I do. But it's because my inner child only knows to be like,
deflection.
I'm not safe
I'm
in
not
this.
gonna do this.
Emotionally, I don't feel good about this. So I just need to like regroup on my own. And it's not that I'm angry. It's not that I'm yelling or cursing or anything. I just like recluse.
Me too. Like if I needed like a couple days, it's not because I'm gonna come back with all of this shit that I'm gonna say,
or I was
or
talking to other
breaking
people,
up, or
yes.
it's nothing like that. It's so that in my head I could be like, how could you have reacted differently to the situation? How do you think your spouse could have reacted differently? And then come together and talk about it.
Yes.
Like, hey, I messed up. I'm sorry. I did X, Y, and Z. I said X, Y, and Z. But I was triggered because you said X, Y, and Z. Or not even triggered. You could just be like, I'm sorry that I did that. Like, if you weren't triggered and you were the first, to like...
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be you two against the problem. And not you two against the problem separately.
Right. And I agree with you. Like, there's times where I have to, like, self-reflect, take things away, and, like, just own it and be like, hey, I could have done this better, or going forward, I'll start doing this better.
That's me almost every time. Because I'm like, hey, you didn't have to say all that. Like,
I think for me, it's like...
I'm like, God damn it, Brittany.
Like, even, too, I've worked on where, like, before I'd be like, I need space. Like, that doesn't give anyone a lot of security.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, like space, like breaking up space. Or like, that's when I realized that my exes would go into, like, tailspins. And I'm like, okay, Brittany, that's probably not that great. Like,
so now I'm
word
like,
it different.
I give time frames. I need this evening to myself because I don't want to say something ugly, or I think we both need a breather. Like, I need. You're
so much nicer than me.
Or girl, but that has taken a lot. And I even tell Jonathan, I'm like, I don't go to just church. I don't just go to therapy for. I mean, there's other things that I go for too, obviously. But I clearly, just the little bit that y'all know about
Lulu.
Yeah,
the Lulu. We like that part though. Yeah. It's like, that's my favorite side.
It's my little devil who, like, her eyes always twitching. She's like, fuck, up. And my angel's like, we're better than that. We've evolved.
Honey, you need to go back to church. Like, it's Wednesday. Go to Bible study today, actually. Just go ahead.
Yes.
You're like, okay.
But I tell him, like, I feel like a sign of a healthy partner in whatever attachment style you're in is that they're willing to work on themselves. They're willing to self-reflect and be like, either I'm anxiously attached or I'm disorganized attached, like where they're both, or avoidant. In any style, like saying and owning it. Like, even sometimes I'm like, I just have to be vulnerable with you. This is what I'm feeling right now. Not saying it's your fault. I don't know where it's coming from, but
I'll figure it out. Yeah. And until I figure it out, I can't readdress the situation.
Right.
But that's also, our mom brains are working 24/7. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mind you, and I usually get with people who don't have children and have very calm lives. And they don't understand that. And that's when I'm like, okay, you have to realize that I'm thinking about, okay, well, the kids eat what's on the school menu for lunch tomorrow. What am I going to pick? Is it going to be hot or cold? What clothes do I need to pick them out? Like, okay, which job am I working tomorrow? Like, I need to pick out my outfit. Like, I constantly have a million things running through my head. And so if I ask for, a day or two, it's because one, I already have that stuff in my head to begin with, and now I'm also dealing with this on the side.
You need the space and time to regulate.
Yeah, but I also hate when people don't think that they have nothing they could work on. I'm like, that's bullshit.
That's a sign to have an unhealthy partner.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody constantly
nobody is perfect.
Should be working on themselves. I think people in their 60s should still be working on themselves.
Yeah, no one is perfect. No one had a perfect childhood. No. And if you're not willing to work on yourself, just one for you. Like,
why not? Yeah, so that way you can be at peace and you can love yourself.
I think, like, even too, when I see or I've heard and experienced, especially when it's like other moms or women like shaming other moms and women for like therapy or church and stuff, it always bugs me because I'm like, if
that's the people they could actually use it the most. I'm like, and that's why they make fun of it.
But I'm like, why shame somebody?
I don't know why I had to do all that. But that was cool.
Make fun of it.
Doing like the cougar. How we both. We're so gay. Bro.
I know we are, but
anyways, that's besides the point.
They
knew about me, just not you.
Because I'm like, don't you want better for you? Don't you want better for your future relationships? Don't you want better for your children?
So they're never willing to learn.
Yes.
They're just okay being where they are, and at what they are, and I don't like that. Me neither. I always have a new, like, okay, what can we do differently in like 2 years? Could we move somewhere else? Or could we get like an RV and travel around? Or like, I'm constantly like, what can me and the kids do to live a fulfilled life? Because I was supposed to die 3 times by now. So I'm just, to me, I feel like I'm already 45 years old and not 34.
I feel like that's also why you're so protective of your peace though.
Yeah, because I don't want, like, I've signed bedside wills. I don't want anybody to fuck with me. Like, if I can make it out of all that stuff, you should be helping to bring peace to my life and not drama.
And there's going to be issues, like you said.
Yeah, of course.
There is, but always, you have to have 2 healthy partners that are like, okay, I can work on this, I can work on this, and then it's you two coming together against whatever issue you guys are facing or problem.
But if one of the people is like just nonstop badgering the other person, like it doesn't work.
Or just refuses.
I
mean, with Jed's dad towards the end, like I was like, offering solutions, like should we live in just like separate rooms until we can like like an in-home separation, go to church, go to therapy.
So that way y'all could still like try to work it out, or have your son.
Yes. And he just straight up was like no. And so then I was like, okay, then go, like, because he wanted to leave. I'm like, then there's nothing for us here, then you're just gonna have to go. And I always say, like, regardless, me and Cayman, we split now going on 8 years ago, but like at least came and tried. He was like, we'll go to therapy. And it was just, I mean, sometimes you can't save those things, right?
No.
And that's just life. It happens. But I think we were also very young. And I refused to view Cayman from the perspective of why he was the way he was. He had also a very hard childhood, a very hard adolescence. And so we like trauma bonded when we were teenagers. Mm-hmm. And then
but then use it as adults, ammo. When you were adults.
Yeah, we use it as ammunition.
That's why you are the way you are.
Yeah, that's
your
why
fucking
you
daddy
suck.
left.
Yeah, exactly. And now that we're mature,
that's fucking terrible.
We like are like, okay, we'll like try to take the higher road and stuff. And that's why we can co-parent as well as we do.
Girl, you taking the higher road is him yapping in there, and then you just shutting the door.
I'm like, okay.
She just shut the door.
He was like, yeah, because he like.
He said he was number 1 today or some bullshit.
He was feeling good about it.
I was like,
himself.
what? What does that even mean?
Extra shit. He like did the grass. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, it looks good.
So he did the grass, and then he got a whole bunch of shit for free from Home Depot because he won a gift card. And they said they delivered it, but someone either got our order or they just straight up never delivered it. And so he went there and argued with him. So he got his money back from the gift card. That's why I was like, is that cash mine? He's like, yeah, it's yours. Because he's like, you can have it. And then he got the stuff. So he was feeling on top of the world. And I was like, yeah, sure, you're great.
Shot caller, which is what you need.
But he needed a lot of words of affirmation because he didn't get that as a child. And now, like, in our co-parenting, like...
It's so fucking annoying.
It is.
Like, to me, it's so annoying. Insane. Because I'm like, if I didn't like you, bro, you would not be in my... Like, you would not be in this aura,
if we didn't have
ever.
A child...
Yeah.
Definitely. But at the same point, we have to co-parent. So even in our co-parenting dynamic, I have to learn, not our attachment styles, because we're not attached to each other, but just kind of how we are and how we handle issues and conflict resolution. because Cayman is a type of person where he needs immediate reassurance. If we have an argument about Cam, he'll be like, well, am I going to at least get to pick him up tomorrow? I'm like, if the plan was for you to pick him up tomorrow,
that's still the plan.
That's still the plan. Just because I'm angry about you or at you or about what you said or
does
whatever,
not change shit with our kids.
Does not change shit with our children.
Yep, no. That's how I am.
But
I'm like,
he is very anxious.
I'm like, bro, that doesn't change anything. Like,
and then Cayman will tell me, he's like, I'll tell you something and you'll just look at me like I'm like talking to a brick wall. But that's me shutting down. When he gets angry, I'm just like, okay.
Because you're used to it. Or you were used to it.
I think that's also too my defense mechanism. I'm just like,
okay, sounds good. Mine is,
yep.
If somebody hears me say, okay, sounds good, they immediately like, okay, it's not good because you said that phrase. So let's talk about it more. And I'm like, no, sounds good. Like,
I think
I heard you.
Once I'm like,
let's go.
Hey, like, I just, like, it's a hard almost switch where I'm like, yeah, okay, well then, let's take some space. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, let's just take some space, like a few days. Like, that's fine. I don't care. And I know I care, but
You do, but you're just like, okay, if we come back together, we come back together. If we don't, we don't. Like, it is what it is. Oh, girl. And I've been trying to work through that for like a year in therapy now.
And that's what's crazy
God.
is like, when people like, I'm sure people judge, listen, whatever, and feel a certain way about it. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think anyone's, again, entitled to judge, say how you should act, speak on
label you.
Speak
God,
on
that makes me so
no
mad.
One is perfect. No one had a perfect childhood. All of us became and evolved into the adults that we are with our own way of dealing with things from those. So you have to take a very like empathetic approach.
My kids are going to be like, my mom was a fucking hippie.
And I think Camden, sometimes I worry
I love me some free-spirited music. I always look wild. Like,
I feel like Camden is going to have, I've seen it where he deals with emotions separate.
Yeah, he went to the bathroom. Remember you were saying he got upset and instead of crying in front of y'all, he went to the bathroom and cried. But you do that.
I do that. Yeah. I am a shower crier. If I'm upset, I'll take a shower and I'll cry in the shower so that way it just looks like my whole face is red from the shower because I don't want anyone to know I was crying.
Yeah, I don't ever cry. If I cry, a dog died in a movie or someone died in my real life.
We've been very close friends. I say that because we went to high school together, but close friends, like going on 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I've seen you cry twice. So
did a dog die or did someone die in my life?
No, it was neither. It was the kiddos.
You were just the separation from them. Oh God, that shit killed me.
And I was like,
when you're a mom every single day, all day by yourself, or like I say all day, but they go to school, but then right when they get off at 3, they're mine until 8:00 at night. Every weekend, I was not used to sharing them, and then they just leave me.
And even then, you could tell like, and I love you with my whole heart, and it was hard because I was like, it's okay, like I could barely. And now, see, I gave you a hug today.
I know. Look, see, you've been working.
I've been working on things. I'm like,
or that's just like when you were like, I need to come over. I'm gonna fucking blow. I was like, okay, do it. I was like, she was all crying. I was like, it's gonna be okay. I'm making dinner. Like, yes, it's okay. I was like, I'm making dinner.
This is also how. Sorry, we'll end on this note. This is how I know Brittany had a ton of responsibility, and that's all. Like she knows is like that's her love language. Because I'm like losing my shit. I was going through a lot of shit.
I was like, why don't you go shower? I'm like,
no. But then you were like, I know. I'll make breakfast for dinner. This bitch started making sausage, bacon, pancakes, eggs,
everything I could, browns. Everything I had in my. I was like, let's do it.
Do you want something now? I can warm up some spaghetti. Like I was like, I think I'm okay. Like you were like,
but no. It's because you're used to cooking for yourself. That's how I am. So when my mom's like, oh, I can make dinner. I'm like, are you sure? Like I got dinner. Like I'm good.
It was definitely your love language. You were like, I'm not going to sit here and coddle you, but you know what?
But I'll cook for you.
I'll cook for you.
Giving somebody food or my pies or anything like that is definitely my love language. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, but so I'm like, there, I'm gonna make food. I'm like,
you're like, okay, BRB. I
got this. Yeah. No, and I made you sit on the couch so I could see you, and I was like, put on whatever you want. Watch a murder show where they're like slashing each other. I was like, it'll make you feel so much better. And then fucking Jen throws the can of crickets like I have a gecko. God. and he found like the
fucking
container of crickets.
Live crickets.
And he fucking threw them. So now I have crickets while I'm trying to cook. And I'm like, it's okay, Eddie. I will go and get them. And then I get upstairs and I'm like looking at my kids. I'm like, help me pick up these fucking crickets. I was like, I have bacon on the fucking stove. I was like, nobody needs to talk to Eddie. She's about to take a bath. And then, oh yeah, you take a bath in my bathroom. Yeah,
I was so gross that day too. I was so greasy.
That's how I feel right now. I'm like, I'm still sweating. I can't wait to shower. But that's how we each have like a different love language, and that's what I like about other people. As I'm always like, okay, so what's your love language? They're like, what? I'm like,
I think
everybody's is different.
Know if I love you, because yes, I'll cook for you, but also I'll be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
like if I love you, I'm like, no, girl, you look great. Like I'll cheer you on. Like I mean, I will. And it's crazy because I won't even cheer for myself that way. The way I'll cheer for and advocate. Like, people don't realize advocating for someone is a big love language.
Is the best thing
when they're like,
ever.
Eddie, this, and this happened in the group chat. I'm like, hold on.
Like, Courtney, when she's like, oh, I applied for that new position. It's way higher up. I'll get, like, a massive pay raise plus better insurance. And, like, all the shit that she was telling us. We're like, hell yeah. Like, we fucking hope you get it. Like,
yeah.
That's people that you need behind you.
Oh, yeah. If I love you,
For
you
sure.
know, because I'm like, what do you need? I'll show up. I'll watch
Well,
the
half
kids.
my friends don't have a mom or either parent. And so I feel bad whenever I'm like, okay, well, my mom said you could come over. She'll have your back. Like, you know, I'm like, if you need a mom, my mom's a fill-in. Like,
yeah. I think for me, it's like, whatever you, if you...
I can't believe I have a hole in these new pants. I'm mad.
I'll say this.
Look at it.
I've been watching it. I'm like, it's growing.
I know. Because I'm fucking with it. I know, but it's bothering me.
But I think my love language is definitely showing up. Like, you know I love you.
See, I'll show up and I'll cook.
Yeah. I think we very much have the same kind of way where it's like, because that's all we know. That's what we were put into as young kids. You show up, you take care of others.
Yeah, like, even if I'm mad at you, I will show up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what pisses me off as a whole. Because I'm like, bitch, they were just talking so much shit about you. And then here you go. Just showing up. Yep, me too.
Especially if I love your babies.
And I've called that one of my downfalls. And I don't think that it is at all. No. But I have constantly been like, that's one of your downfalls. Is like, you're still there for people who would not do the same for you. And I'm like...
I think you have to be cautious.
But they would. Yeah.
Cautious about it. But, like, I don't think it's a downfall. There's not a lot of genuineness, love... just like community left in this day and age.
No, not at all.
So when you find it or when you are it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, me neither.
Just be cautious, protect your peace, set your boundaries. If they do it repeatedly, then you know.
Then you know. You're like, yeah, this is not going to change.
Yeah.
So.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I'll show up for you, girl.
I'll show up for you, girl.
And I'll show up for you guys.
And y'all.
Bye.
Bye.